Have you ever wondered why some women seem unable to resist a man who doesn't give in easily? Why? The more he holds back, the more intense their interest becomes. Today, I'm going to reveal the Kierkegaard Paradox and explain exactly how the female mind reacts to challenge, to what is rare, and to what conveys silent power, and you will understand why this isn't a coincidence. It's pure instinctive psychology. Take a deep breath and put yourself in this situation. A man who doesn't chase, who keeps his life, his space, and his choices intact. He doesn't beg, doesn't act needy, and doesn't run away from a no or resistance. And yet, she feels an almost magnetic need to win him over. In today's video, I'm going to break down every detail of this female behavior and show how scarcity, emotional strength, and mystery become powerful weapons in attraction. Get ready, because what you're about to discover isn't just theory. Each point we'll cover reveals an instinctive pattern that happens daily in the life of any man who understands his own worth.
Before we continue, I need to tell you something. This video only reached you because someone liked it and subscribed to our channel. Now it's your turn to do the same. Leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell, so this chain of knowledge keeps growing and reaching more people. Also, comment down below which city you're watching from, because I want to know how far this video is traveling. Now, no more delays, let's get to the good stuff.
First reason, the female mind is intrigued by challenge. When a man doesn't give in easily, he automatically sparks curiosity and interest. It's as if difficulty is a magnet. The more she feels she needs to conquer something, the more engaged she becomes. The challenge creates emotional tension, makes her invest attention and energy, and instigates feelings that motivate her to get closer, even without consciously realizing it. Women tend to value what requires effort. When a man remains firm, secure, and independent, she feels there is something to be won, and this lights a flame of internal motivation. This type of behavior activates the natural instinct of hunting and conquest, awakening intense emotions that wouldn't arise if everything were handed over easily. Furthermore, the challenge creates a psychological game dynamic that increases the man's perceived value. He stops being just another option and becomes someone rare and desirable. The female mind loves enigmas, and every gesture of reserve or hesitation creates layers of mystery that keep her involved, thinking about him and trying to decipher his intentions. Finally, this behavior reinforces female self-esteem. She feels she is achieving something that is not guaranteed, and this feeling of partial conquest causes excitement and emotional pleasure. The challenge, therefore, isn't just superficial attraction. It is a combination of curiosity, desire, and psychological validation that transforms the elusive man into someone magnetic.
If you're tired of watching her play games, ignore you, and do whatever she wants with your feelings, it's time to show who's in charge of the game. It's time to make her chase you and recognize your true value. In the first pinned comment, I've left a step-by-step guide on how to make her pursue you. Plus, you'll level up and become the best version of yourself. Click now.
Second reason, what is rare seems more valuable. When a man isn't always available, he automatically becomes special in her eyes. Scarcity creates a sense of preciousness. What is not easily found arouses more attention, more desire, and an unconscious need to get closer. This perception of rarity causes his every gesture to be amplified in her mind, making every meeting, every message, and every look extremely significant. Rarity generates a feeling of exclusivity that directly affects female psychology. She realizes that conquering someone who is not available to everyone requires effort and strategy, and this transforms the relationship into an instinctive game of attraction. The rare man becomes a goal to be achieved, elevating his perceived value without him needing to constantly prove anything. In addition, elusive behavior creates a contrast with common men who give in easily or show neediness. This contrast increases her fascination because he is not predictable, not guaranteed, and does not submit to immediate expectations. Every calculated gesture and every deliberate absence reinforces the perception that he is a prize and not just another available man. Finally, the value of rarity is not just psychological, but also emotional. She feels a genuine excitement in investing time and attention in someone who is not easily obtained. This natural valuation effect transforms the man into someone memorable, someone who awakens continuous desire, even without great efforts or explicit demonstrations of power. Third reason, he doesn't give in easily. When a man maintains emotional distance and doesn't give in at the first sign of interest, he triggers a conquest instinct in the female mind. This behavior creates an irresistible tension. She feels she needs to make an effort, decipher signals, and win his attention, which increases her emotional involvement without him needing to do anything other than be himself. Not giving in easily generates a powerful psychological effect. He stops being predictable. His every gesture gains more meaning, and every opportunity to get closer becomes a small challenge that instigates her desire. Emotional scarcity creates curiosity and keeps the interest alive because she feels that nothing is guaranteed and that she needs to value every moment he offers. Furthermore, this stance conveys confidence and emotional maturity. He shows that he has boundaries, priorities, and independence, and this automatically raises his value in her eyes. Controlled resistance is perceived as silent strength, and the female mind is naturally attracted to someone who seems to have control over his own emotions. Ultimately, the fact that he doesn't give in easily makes him seen as a prize to be won. She doesn't feel she has immediate access to his heart, which awakens an instinctive desire to invest attention, emotion, and energy to gain his affection. This behavior transforms the game of attraction into something strategic, intense, and irresistible. Fourth reason, uncertainty generates excitement. When a man does not act predictably or is not available all the time, he creates a psychological effect that activates a woman's curiosity and adrenaline. His every gesture, every message, or unexpected silence causes an emotional roller coaster that increases her interest and the intensity of her desire. The female mind is naturally sensitive to signs of challenge and surprise. Uncertainty awakens deeper emotions than routine or predictability could generate, making her pay attention to every detail, analyze every attitude, and want to understand more about him. This game of approach and distance keeps the mental bond always active and engaging. Furthermore, the excitement generated by uncertainty creates stronger emotional memories. Every meeting or conversation becomes more striking because she associates these moments with intense and unpredictable feelings, reinforcing her fascination. The contrast between his presence and absence makes the emotional experience more vivid, almost addictive. Finally, uncertainty makes him seem more valuable and desirable. It's not just about being available or not, but about how he transforms the simple act of relating into something that requires attention, effort, and genuine desire. This effect keeps a woman mentally engaged and emotionally connected, even if he only watches from a distance, preserving the natural magnetism of the elusive man. Fifth reason, she feels she needs to win him over. When a man doesn't give in easily, a woman instinctively feels she must invest effort to gain his attention and affection. This feeling of challenge awakens internal motivation and creates a more intense emotional connection because she begins to value his every gesture as a result of her own effort. The act of conquering activates pleasure and reward hormones, making every emotional advance extremely gratifying. The more he maintains his independence, the more she feels that every small sign of interest is a prize to be won, increasing her fascination and dedication to the relationship. In addition, this need for conquest makes her pay more attention to details. His gestures, words, and attitudes become highly significant. Every interaction begins to carry emotional weight, raising the man's perceived value without him needing to force anything or act excessively available. Ultimately, feeling that she needs to win him over strengthens her psychological and emotional investment. She gets involved not only for what he offers, but for the challenge itself, making the dynamic more intense, engaging, and instinctively attractive. This transforms the elusive man into someone who awakens desire in a natural and strategic way. Sixth reason, he seems to have options. When a man demonstrates, even subtly, that he has other opportunities and does not depend on a single person, he automatically increases his value in her eyes. The perception that he is not attached to her creates a psychological effect of scarcity that sparks interest and internal competition. The female mind is attracted to signs of freedom and autonomy. Knowing that he doesn't attach himself easily makes every moment of his attention more meaningful, and every gesture of affection or interest is interpreted as a prize won. This perception increases fascination and keeps desire active because he seems to be something rare and valuable. Furthermore, the fact that he has options conveys confidence and emotional strength. He doesn't need to prove anything, doesn't show neediness, and maintains his independent stance, which generates respect and admiration. This behavior creates a contrast with men who are available or needy, reinforcing his natural magnetism. Finally, seeming to have options keeps the attraction game at high intensity. She feels she needs to make an effort to stand out and be chosen, increasing emotional connection and excitement. He becomes a prize, someone who is not guaranteed, which activates deep instincts of conquest and desire. Seventh reason, he conveys emotional strength. A man who remains balanced, even in the face of challenges or conflicts, shows that he has control over his emotions. This stability not only conveys security, but also creates admiration because she realizes he is not easily shaken and does not give in to every impulse. Emotional strength generates respect and fascination because she instinctively values someone who can maintain his own composure without losing his essence. He becomes a reference for maturity and confidence, which increases the desire to be by his side, as his presence comes to mean stability and emotional protection. In addition, this posture activates a powerful mental trigger, contrast. While many people show anxiety or neediness, he remains calm and centered, creating a magnetic effect that naturally draws attention and increases his perceived value. His every gesture is observed and valued much more intensely. Ultimately, conveying emotional strength makes him seen as someone worthy of being conquered, not someone who gives in easily. This awakens the instinct to invest emotionally in herself to deserve him, making the dynamic between them more intense, engaging, and full of desire. Eighth reason, he doesn't show neediness. A man who maintains his emotional independence and doesn't chase approval or attention automatically conveys value. The absence of excessive need makes her realize that he has control over his own life, increasing her respect and fascination. The lack of neediness creates a powerful contrast with other men who appear anxious or dependent. This contrast activates natural instincts of attraction because he comes to be seen as someone rare, secure, and emotionally solid. His every gesture of interest becomes significant, precisely because it is not automatic or predictable. Furthermore, when he doesn't show desperation, he creates space for the woman to chase him. This generates an instinctive game dynamic where she feels motivated to invest more attention, energy, and emotion, making every interaction more intense and memorable. Finally, the absence of neediness reinforces his perceived value as a prize to be won. He doesn't attach himself easily, doesn't beg for attention, and this awakens genuine desire. This strategic posture transforms attraction into something natural, deep, and instinctively magnetic. Ninth reason, he becomes a prize, not a given. When a man doesn't give everything away immediately, he automatically creates value in her eyes. His every gesture, every bit of attention, or every display of affection begins to be perceived as a prize to be won, increasing her interest and motivation instinctively. This behavior activates a deep psychological mechanism. Scarcity generates desire. The more he maintains a certain distance or mystery, the more she feels she needs to invest to get his approval, making the conquest more intense and emotionally engaging. He stops being just another option and transforms into something rare and valued. In addition, being seen as a prize conveys strength and maturity. He shows that he doesn't attach himself easily, that he has boundaries, and that he does not submit to just any situation. This posture reinforces natural magnetism and makes the woman perceive him as someone worthy of effort, attention, and dedication. Finally, becoming a prize creates a dynamic of continuous attraction. Every moment with him becomes memorable, every approach carries value, and every withdrawal awakens desire. This natural strategy transforms the game of attraction into something intense, engaging, and irresistibly magnetic. 10th reason, he doesn't get attached easily. When a man maintains emotional distance and avoids giving in quickly, he awakens a challenge instinct in the woman. The difficulty of winning his affection makes her invest more attention, energy, and emotion, making every interaction more intense and memorable. This posture creates a perception of high value. He is not available to everyone, does not submit to neediness, and maintains his independence, which automatically increases her respect and admiration. His every gesture begins to have weight and meaning because nothing is guaranteed or predictable. Furthermore, by not getting attached easily, he conveys emotional maturity. She realizes that he knows how to handle his own emotions, does not act on impulse, and maintains control over his decisions, creating an image of security and strength that is extremely attractive. Ultimately, the difficulty of getting attached transforms the dynamic of attraction. He becomes someone worthy of effort, who demands emotional investment from her, awakening continuous desire and keeping the fascination active without having to try too hard to win attention. 11th reason. He conveys emotional maturity. A man who deals with his emotions in a balanced way demonstrates control, security, and self-confidence, qualities that naturally spark respect and admiration. This posture makes her feel that she is dealing with someone reliable, capable of facing challenges without losing her cool or giving in to impulses. Emotional maturity increases his perceived value because she understands, even instinctively, that he is not easily manipulated. His every decision, gesture, and word carries meaning, reinforcing the feeling that he is someone solid, interesting, and worthy of emotional investment. In addition, this posture creates a contrast with immature or dependent men who appear anxious or unstable. The effect is immediate. He becomes magnetic simply by not overreacting, maintaining emotional presence and authority in any situation. Ultimately, conveying emotional maturity makes him seen as someone rare and valuable. She feels she needs to make an effort to win his attention, and this increases fascination, motivation, and the desire to get closer, transforming attraction into something intense and genuinely magnetic. 12th reason. He gives her space to chase him. When a man maintains his own life and is not always available, he creates a dynamic of instinctive attraction. She feels she needs to invest effort, attention, and emotion to win him over, and this generates a natural fascination that no needy behavior could awaken. Giving space activates the hunting and conquest instinct, which is deeply rooted in female psychology. His every gesture begins to have more meaning, and the perception that he is not easily obtained increases his value in her eyes, making the connection more intense and engaging. Furthermore, allowing her to chase him creates a balance in the relationship. He maintains emotional control and conveys security, while she feels motivated to get closer, strengthening desire without needing to force interactions or show neediness. Ultimately, this strategy transforms the man into someone memorable. He becomes the goal she wants to reach, a prize that requires emotional investment, which naturally increases attraction and keeps the mental and emotional bond always active. 13th reason. He forces her out of her comfort zone. An elusive man creates situations that emotionally challenge a woman, making her need to invest energy, reflection, and creativity to connect with him. This type of challenge awakens intense emotions and makes every interaction memorable. When she leaves her comfort zone, her brain associates effort with reward. His every gesture gains more value because she feels that winning him over requires attention and dedication, increasing fascination and the instinctive desire to get closer. In addition, this posture shows strength and independence. He does not facilitate access to his emotional world, which creates a contrast with other men who appear predictable or dependent. This contrast makes the attraction more intense because he becomes someone rare and valuable. Finally, by forcing her out of her comfort zone, he keeps interest and excitement alive. Every emotional advance she makes becomes a victory, reinforcing the perception that he is a prize and increasing the natural magnetism that makes her want to continue investing in him. 14th reason. He doesn't show desperation. A man who maintains calm and emotional balance even in the face of her interest automatically conveys security and value. The absence of desperation creates an aura of silent authority, making his every gesture more significant and attractive. When he doesn't chase or beg for attention, she feels she needs to invest to connect, activating the conquest instinct. This posture generates fascination because he positions himself as someone who has control over his own emotions and does not depend on external validation. In addition, not showing desperation creates a contrast with other men who appear anxious or needy. This contrast increases the perception of rarity and value, making every interaction with him seem special, strategic, and memorable. Ultimately, the absence of desperation keeps the attraction constant. He becomes someone who requires attention and effort to be won over, reinforcing his natural magnetism and transforming the game of attraction into something intense, instinctive, and emotionally engaging. 15th reason. He creates contrast between presence and absence. One of the most powerful secrets of the elusive man is the way he strategically alternates presence and absence. When he appears, he is fully present, with attention, energy, and authenticity. When he pulls away, he maintains silence and distance, without showing neediness. This alternation creates a deep psychological effect. The female mind begins to associate his presence with moments of pleasure and connection, while his absence awakens curiosity, desire, and anticipation. Every interaction begins to be valued much more intensely because she realizes that he is not available all the time, making every moment together special and memorable. The contrast between presence and absence also activates the hunting and conquest instinct. She begins to pay attention to details, analyze behaviors, and interpret signs, because his every approach now has a high emotional meaning. This effect does not happen by chance. The alternation creates tension, excitement, and involvement, keeping interest always active and making her feel she needs to deserve every moment with him. The more strategic he is, the more powerful the effect on the female mind becomes. Furthermore, this dynamic of contrast reinforces the perception of his value and emotional maturity. He shows that he has control over his time, his choices, and his emotions, conveying security and silent strength. While many men become predictable or anxious, he positions himself as someone who creates his own rules, awakening respect, fascination, and genuine desire. Every gesture of attention or deliberate silence transforms into a powerful attraction tool, without needing exaggerated efforts. Finally, creating contrast between presence and absence keeps the game of attraction at high intensity. He becomes someone memorable, who awakens emotion and excitement even from a distance, and who makes her associate moments with him with unique and valuable experiences. This strategic effect transforms the dynamic of the relationship. He begins to set the pace, maintaining magnetism, control, and power of attraction, while she remains emotionally engaged and instinctively motivated to get closer. 16th reason. He conveys value by not being always available. A man who is not immediately available to everyone automatically creates a perception of rarity and exclusivity. Emotional scarcity works as an amplifier of perceived value. As every gesture, every word, or every bit of attention becomes more significant because they are not taken for granted, making her instinctively and deeply value him. This strategic absence activates the conquest instinct in the woman. She feels she needs to invest time, attention, and emotion to gain his interest, and this generates continuous fascination. Every interaction begins to carry more emotional weight because he doesn't give everything away easily, maintaining mystery and the feeling that every conquest is the result of real effort. In addition, by not being always available, he demonstrates strength and emotional security. He shows that he has priorities, autonomy, and control over his own life, conveying maturity and stability. This behavior creates a contrast with men who are dependent or anxious, further elevating his natural magnetism. Finally, conveying value through unavailability keeps her interest always active. He becomes someone memorable, desirable, and worthy of emotional investment. This strategy transforms every shared moment into something intense, emotionally engaging, and instinctively attractive, reinforcing the power of the elusive man's dynamic. 17th reason. He makes time work in his favor. A man who doesn't rush to reveal feelings or intentions knows how to use time as an ally. Every moment of waiting, every strategic silence and every display of patience creates an emotional tension that awakens curiosity and fascination. He understands that haste diminishes perceived value, and by letting things unfold naturally, he transforms her interest into something lasting and intense. The use of strategic time activates her investment instinct. The more she has to wait, observe, and interpret his signs, the more emotionally involved she becomes. His every gesture becomes significant, every meeting memorable, because she associates value with what requires patience and dedication to be won. This perception automatically elevates his magnetism. Furthermore, by controlling the pace of interactions, he conveys maturity and confidence. He does not get carried away by impulses, does not show anxiety, and maintains his focus on his own life. This posture creates a contrast with men who appear anxious or needy, increasing her respect and fascination almost automatically. Finally, making time work in his favor transforms the dynamic of attraction into something powerful and instinctive. He becomes someone who is not immediately available, but who rewards her attention and effort in a strategic way. This creates continuous desire, strengthens the emotional bond, and keeps the natural magnetism of the elusive man always active. 18th reason. He symbolizes what cannot be easily possessed, and this activates an instinctive desire. A man who does not give in immediately or predictably becomes, by nature, a symbol of challenge and rarity. For the female mind, he represents something valuable, difficult to achieve, and this awakens primitive instincts of attraction and conquest. His every gesture begins to carry more emotional weight precisely because it is not guaranteed. This instinctive perception makes her invest more attention, energy, and emotion to deserve him. The more he maintains his independence and reserve, the more she feels the need to get closer, to decipher his signs, and to engage in the game of attraction. The elusive man, in this sense, transforms into a natural prize. In addition, by symbolizing the inaccessible, he activates excitement and desire automatically. The female mind associates effort with reward, and every moment of connection with him becomes striking and emotionally intense. He doesn't need to force attention or affection. The very difficulty of winning him over creates fascination. Finally, being perceived as something that cannot be easily possessed strengthens his position of magnetism. He becomes someone memorable, desirable, and irresistible, capable of keeping her interest active without effort, simply by representing the challenge and value that awaken instinctive desire. If this video made a difference for you, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Every video we create here is made with great care, always with the goal of helping you develop and become your best version. We want to share practical and direct tips that truly impact your life in a positive way. So, don't waste time and comment the word gratitude and the phrase "in search of my best version" below. With this, the algorithm will take this video to even more men who are looking for growth. Your engagement in the comments is essential for our content to reach those who need these tips the most. Furthermore, your support with a like and subscribing to the channel strengthens our work and gives us motivation to continue creating valuable content for your journey. The more you interact, the more men will also have access to this type of information, which only helps our mission to transform lives. So, thank you for being with us on this journey. Stay tuned for the next videos, because we are always bringing new things to help you evolve. Big hug, and see you in the next video.